Hey, my friends. In today's episode, we're hanging out with Maddie Duval, our special guest, and a coach who really does understand the challenges of healing and loss. She's going to share how her own experiences can help us find more accountability and support on our parenting journey. So stay tuned. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's rock and talk. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy. Today we have a special guest, Maddie Duval. She is my COO and a beautiful, amazing, wonderful team member. And I'm actually going to let her introduce herself today, but I am excited to have her on the show and for you guys to get to know Maddie a little bit better. If some of you might remember that we've had her on one other time. Maddie, how long ago was that? That was like several months ago, right?
That was I think it was June 25th is when that episode aired, but I think we even recorded it way before that. So,
Yeah, so it's been a while. It's been a minute, but thank you so much for being on the show, Maddie. And do you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about you?
of course, I am so excited to be back. I love the podcast. I edit a lot of the podcasts, and it's something I really enjoy. Yeah, my name is Maddie. I've been working for Kendra since I think March, and I've had a wonderful time. Have been learning so much about how to be a good counselor, a good therapist. I am kind of off and on my grad program right now for marriage and family therapy. I like it, but it's a lot as anyone that has done grad school or even in their undergrad school, man. It's great, but it's so hard. But yeah, I am married. I've been married for 3 years. I have a puppy. He's very cute. Kendra can attest to this. He likes to join in on our meetings quite frequently. He waits until we are actually talking or working on something, and then he'll decide he needs to play with me right then, which is really unfortunate. And he grabs his squeaker toy. So I love him. We also have a fish. She's great. Yeah, that's kind of myself. I just recently started coaching, which was primarily inspired by I get a little sneak peek into Kendra's future courses, and you guys are in for a treat. Her Find Your Focus one that will be coming out sometime soon is phenomenal. And I already wanted to do coaching, and then taking that course just really cemented kind of what I wanted to focus on. Literally find your focus. And anyway, so yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Well, thanks for giving a plug for that because honestly, yeah, I'm super excited about that course as well. And the other coming ones, the wellness courses. And so it's obviously they don't know a lot about it unless they've been on social media. But tell us a little bit about what you are going to be doing as far as coaching and how that might benefit them.
So while I was taking the course and kind of going through what I'm passionate about, I decided to kind of focus more of my coaching on like loss related and healing related, because that's kind of in the space that I'm in right now and that I have been in for a really long time. And a lot of the worksheets that I was able to do as I was kind of working out the kinks and things really helped me narrow in more of the niche group that I feel like I belong to and would like to continue to serve through coaching and eventually into my role as a therapist, which I'm very, very excited for one day. I'm so excited for that. And so that's kind of my focus right now. I do think that it's applicable really if you've lost family members, if you've done a really bad job on a test, because I think that comes with a whole unique loss of really similar feelings of not feeling like you're good enough, like you've done something wrong to have deserved certain things. So that really spoke to me through like my own health challenges, but also just through interacting with friends and family members who are also really struggling with just a loss of the lives that they thought they would live. And yeah, that's that's pretty much it.
That's amazing. So I'm going to pretend here. I know the information, but I know that the listeners don't as much. So say I'm like thinking about coaching and there can be like hugely high end and other things, this big spectrum of coaching, whether the investment you're making or the time or whatever that is. And say like I'm considering it, but I don't really know what it is. Like, can you tell me a little bit about like if I were going to sign up with you for coaching? What would that look like? What do I need to do? What do I need to invest? How much time does it look like? Like, walk me through that a little bit.
For sure. So just to start off, I have 2 free sessions for 40 minutes just to kind of dip your toes in, not like plunge all the way in. And then after that, $25 a session after that for 40 minutes. And then I also send weekly texts. So that's kind of just the layout of what sessions kind of look like and what you can expect. But why would I do it? What are like the incentives? So coaching is a wonderful way that you can basically have a wonderful cheerleader to propel you towards your goals. So you can show up exactly as you are. That's all I want from you. No work beforehand needed. And what we do through our sessions is we discuss your goals. What do you want to do? For example, I've had clients that just want to pass a class. And so we kind of walk through some of their small goals they have with that and some of their bigger goals and how those tie in together. I had another client who really wanted to focus on herself and how to prioritize herself. And so a lot of our conversations through a lot of our different coaching sessions would often talk about what's getting in the way of that and what are some ways that she can prioritize herself. What are some plans we can make together as a team to propel her forwards for that goal? So I helped her make a meal plan that she could use every once in a while to free up some time with her family. I helped her make reminders in her phone to take a break each day to really think about herself and what she needed. I also worked with her through sending weekly texts 2 times a week to ask her what was something that she's doing to focus on self-care today and what is she doing to help make a moment for herself tomorrow. And that was really, really helpful for her. And I'm actually really pleased with where she is now. And that's a little bit of what to expect. I kind of think in it as I'm your biggest cheerleader towards your success. And I want to work with you to create a plan to get you there because I want you to be successful as much or even more so than you want to be successful. So,
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting because not everybody really is on board with investing in themselves. I know that's like a mindset shift that a lot of people don't really have. But once they get it, once they understand why it's so important to invest, we're really talking about a very small investment here. Listeners, if you don't know, coaching can be very expensive, but Maddie is just offering it for very small, tiny little prices right now, just as she is really dialing everything in her niche and everything that she's working with. So she's just doing this for your benefit and hers as she navigates all of this. And so a very small investment, But even still, people hesitate. What would you say to that when it comes to gaining this, again, for lack of a better word, gaining a testimony or lack of a better phrase, in investing in yourself? Like, how can people make that mindset shift?
A wonderful example that I've used and my clients have used is always the airplane. I think that is the tried and true testament, whether you've been in an airplane or not. What it is if there's low pressure in the cabin, which means that there's not a lot of air circulating, your goal is always to put the mask on yourself first and then anyone else around you that needs help. Because if you're not taking care of yourself first, you can't take care of anyone else. And so anyone that's kind of questioning whether to do like coaching to really get into it and they don't really know if investing in themselves is a good idea, maybe costs too much time, I would ask yourself, do you feel burnt out? Do you constantly feel drained when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, you don't feel refreshed, you're so exhausted? Because that means that you're probably running on low and you need that boost. You need to put some time and money and energy back into yourself because you should look forward to waking up every day. You should be able to work on creating healthy boundaries with those around you so that you can recharge because you deserve it. And I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, but we all deserve to know ourselves and to create time for ourselves because we're important. And a lot of people that I've worked with, they start having a lot of physical symptoms because they haven't been working on themselves. And that is so heartbreaking because it's always best to put in the work before the disaster rather than trying to work on yourself afterwards.
I know for a lot of listeners, stories are what is so convincing. Like I have shared this story before, but I think about my husband, and he was the first example to me because I can be kind of stingy, or I can have a scarcity mindset when I go back into it, when I get tense or afraid. And I felt like, especially when you have young children and all of those things, or just a lot of other things going on in your life, maybe you're a student, whatever, you just feel like I don't have much time, I don't have much money. And that's a lot of our listeners. Like, you know what, maybe I can't justify spending this money on myself. Well, we were in that stage in the very beginning, and my husband was the one like, no, I'm going to pay. At the time, I was like $1,000. Where I'm like, that we could have done that. And yet it felt like so much when all these other people in our family had these needs. And, just, how life is really chaotic in that stage. And my husband, and he's like, no, I'm going to do this course where I show up every single week. It was basically like weekly coaching, and I have accountability to somebody. I need to have something like this. I need to make a change. And when he did that, like, I have never seen him so on fire before. And it was the best our marriage ever was. And I was like, what is going on? This $1,000 that I was just not on board with ended up giving us much more than tenfold what we expected it to, what I definitely expected it to. And not only that, it converted me to investing in yourself. And that started this lifelong journey. Like I had in small ways with like school. Sometimes it's easier to invest in ourselves when it comes to school, but not other things. So my question to you is, do you have a story like that for yourself? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but like with yourself, how did you get converted to investing in yourself, and how would you translate that to helping other people be willing to jump in to do something that will give them those compound effects or those exponential benefits?
Yes, I have shared a little bit about this in a previous podcast, but I am a very go-getter. I didn't believe in taking breaks. I thought it was a horrible thing for most of my life. I'm a very type A person. And so, for example, like I went from high school immediately into college. I finished college. I did not take a year break from my grad program. I can do this. I believe in myself. So what happened was last year, my husband and I we had been trying to start a family, and it was not going very well. As most people know, it can definitely take a lot longer than you expect, or sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like that can come with its own sort of stressors. And so we found ourselves like expecting, not on purpose, but it threw a little bit of a wrench in our plans, which was so surprising because it was something that we had wanted so much, that we had prayed for, that we really wanted, and then it didn't work out. And that was really devastating, especially because I made plans and all of a sudden I found myself and I couldn't make plans. Like everything that I had planned was not working out. And I was so stressed during those couple of months. And I was trying to do all of these things. Like, well, let me just get back to my old job. And I'm just going to keep pushing through it and pushing through it until I realized that it was not sustainable. I couldn't do it anymore. My body just felt like it was breaking down. I already have anxiety, and my anxiety was spiraling out of control. And so I ended up leaving that job. And I was finally able to breathe and relax for like the first time in years, because I've always just been very, very go, go, go. And through these past months and like finding my job with Kendra, I've finally been able to work on myself and put in that time and effort that I was not letting myself do. That whole experience made me realize how much better my marriage has become because I've finally made that drastic shift. And not that everyone should or needs to go quit their jobs or put their schooling on hold to be able to do those things. I really hope that if that's something's really important to you, you don't have to do that. But what I learned was that it is so valuable to take care of yourself and to know yourself. And that experience has led me to, I'm a really big fan of coaching. I'm a really big fan of getting feedback and kind of sitting in my emotions. And that whole experience, even though I would not repeat it again, it was so transformative, and it made me a true believer. It converted me. It converted me, Kendra, and I gained my testimony of taking breaks.
I love it. So wrapping this up then and applying it to our listeners, it sounds like we both have had our transformational experience that's really helped us understand why it's so important to invest in ourselves. And we didn't hit this, but we've talked before about it, or even on podcast episodes about like people that we really admire, that we respect, or anyone largely successful in life, whatever it is, they all have mentors. Like they do not just become successful in any endeavor just magically. Like it requires some action, it requires some accountability. So wrapping this up, what would you say to listeners that want to do these next steps now? And just briefly, where they can go, what they can expect, and maybe the next 2 or 3 steps for them to get on board to take their life to the next level and to create that greater fulfillment.
For sure. I think the first step is recognizing that you can't do it by yourself. Whether that's with a coach or a therapist or spouse, is that we are not a lone person existing. That we are surrounded by individuals, whether we have a family or don't, whether we have a partner or don't. We're influenced by people all the time. And I think it's finding those right people that will help you get where you want to go, that are focused on your success and not theirs. That is the first step that I feel like is really important to internalize and recognize, that can help you get to that next point. After that, I mean, finding a good counselor. Kendra's a wonderful counselor. I mean, I would love for you to join me with coaching. Like, I definitely believe that through all of my clients that I've worked with, that it is a partnership and that we are both teaching each other. And it's so wonderful, I think, to learn from other people and their life experiences and vice versa. I would go with that. And, I have my 2 free sessions, which are wonderful. And then just figuring out something that'll work for you, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 40 minutes, making that time or doing it during a lunch break or doing it while your kids are sleeping, or even while you're cleaning your house. If you want to be cleaning your house while you're in a meeting with me, I don't care. I know life is busy. You want to go grocery shopping? I don't care. I will match you wherever you're at. And then we'll work together to create a plan of where you want to go, where you'd like to see yourself. And we'll start working on that together because, like, I want you to succeed and I want your life to be fulfilled. And I definitely think coaching and taking time for yourself is one of the most important aspects to get there. I know Kendra talks all the time about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And, when you're taking care of yourself and you have all your basic needs met, I think that really helps you get to that higher level. And you unlock the higher level of yourself, the higher version of yourself, so that you can be the best person you can be.
Absolutely. And yeah, as people are looking to take life to the next level and to sign up for coaching, where can they find you?
I am on Instagram. I am also on Gmail. These will all be in the show notes, but my email is gettinggroundcoaching@gmail.com. And then eventually I will have a podcast. Not right now, but that's kind of where to find me. I'm also at Getting Grounded Coaching on Instagram. Don't have a ton of posts on there yet, so if you don't see anything, it's not a scam. It's not a random person. It is me. Just haven't really posted anything yet. So
She's putting her efforts into other areas, which I totally support. I'm not a huge social media person unless it's for purposes of helping our audience out. But okay, wonderful. So they can find you in the show notes and different platforms. And then also, if you even just want to email us at hello@fulfillment.therapist.org, we can also connect you to Maddie as well. So thank you, Maddie, so much for coming on the show and for being willing to speak to coaching and why it's important and how listeners, if this is something they'd like to do, can take their life to the next level and work on those things. And Maddie didn't speak to this as much, but I know that she has assessments and different things. So some people are like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know that I want to improve my life, but I'm not sure how. Well, she can help you understand the best place to start and understand where you're at with your baseline and where you want to go, and then make an action plan on how to do that and breaking it up into those small steps. So if you are excited for that, then go ahead and contact her and check out our show notes. And thank you so much again, Maddie, for coming on and for all the things that you do for me and for the team and for the listeners as well. So thank you so much. And we will have you back on again soon, Maddie.
yes, of course. You're awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, my friends. I know you enjoyed Maddie Duval as much as I do. I am so honored to have her on our team. And as a closing reminder, don't forget to check out fulfillment.therapist.org for all of those new courses that are coming, as well as our blog that releases new content every Monday and Thursday, just like our podcast episodes. So go check that out on fulfillment.therapist.org. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.